Hello, everyone. It's Aiden here, and happy Merry Christmas, which is yesterday, and we look towards 2025. When you say it, does it ever sound futuristic? I remember thinking way back when I was younger, year 2000 was huge. Well, today I want to talk about 2025 and setting goals and objectives and New Year's resolutions. Now, apparently 92% of people fail at their New Year's resolutions. And New Year's resolutions and new goals, things like that, all go hand in hand. Many of us are going to look for, getting healthy or what have you. We go to the gym in the first couple of days of January and it's packed. And we go in the first couple of days of February and it's empty. So we all know that setting goals and then keeping that motivation can be very challenging. And that's why I'm here to talk to you about today. What I want to talk about today specifically is setting your goals for 2025 and studying the book and learning from the book, Choose Your Enemies Wisely by Patrick Bet-David. Now, this is not going to be a book review. This is going to be some of the takeaways that I've taken, and I'm still doing it to finish off my 2025 plan. But the one thing I really want to focus on is when he talks about choose your enemies wisely. Now, he has 12 basic steps to build your business plan, and I'll touch on those in a minute. But the primary thing he advocates for, and thus the title of the book, is Choose Your Enemies Wisely. Now, a lot of people have a problem with an enemy. And what's the difference between an enemy and competition? Well, he goes over that in the book, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm studying, and that's what I'm implementing for 2025. And I wanted to share some of those takeaways. Now, it's very difficult to kind of put your head around an enemy, right? Because an enemy, you usually think of an enemy as someone that maybe is out to hurt you, or maybe you want to hurt them, maybe not, physically, but, in some type of retribution way. And what an enemy is, and as he describes it in the book, it's something that fuels you. It's something that creates passion. And I'm going to read from the blurb as he explains. I'm going to show it on the screen here. It might be a little small, but I'll read it for you. So, and it will be a little small. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. But he says, who are your enemies? If they don't answer right now, when he's talking to someone, maybe in a consulting, or he's asking someone, I ask who their haters are, who has doubted them or stood in their way, and who they need to prove wrong. Oftentimes I get blank stares. When I dig a little deeper, I'll sit in silence as long as I need to. Never underestimate the power of silence. The answer usually comes. The emotion that has been bottled up spills out. Maybe Larry still has scars from being laughed at in the gym class for being the chubby kid who couldn't climb the rope. Maybe his teacher haunts his dreams. It could be an old boss, his more successful friend, or a family member that moves him emotionally. Before he can move forward, he must know his enemy. And that's what he talks about. Talks about having an enemy, someone that fuels you. It could be a teacher that doubted you, told you you'd never amount to anything. It could be your friends who laughed at you when you said you're going to start a business. It's not so much something or someone that you want to hurt or is an actual enemy to say, but enemy is used kind of as a metaphor for fuel. So it's different than a competitor. It's an enemy, someone that fuels you. Now, if we look at Google, and we want to look at Google and see, what do they say about an enemy? Let's look at this. An enemy, they say on Google, is to determine a business enemy, thoroughly analyze your direct competitors, considering factors like market share, customer base overlap, similar product offerings, aggressive marketing tactics, or any history or negative interactions. essentially identifying the company that actively tries to undermine your business success and steal your customers in the same marketplace. So that's a great analogy or way to look at an enemy and how to start thinking about getting an enemy. So I'm encouraging you, I'm encouraging myself, who is it? What is it that can create fuel to create that passion so that you get up in the morning and you think, okay, they are out to get me, I'm out to get them. Now, we can make a lot of that up in our head because I'm sure your competitors aren't up every day fueled by trying to defeat you. Maybe they have that as something they want to do, but you make this bigger and bigger and bigger in your head so that you actually create fuel or an illusion, if you will, of something that you're going after. So key points to consider when identifying a business enemy. Google says market positioning. Look at which companies directly compete for the same customer segment with similar products or services. Pricing strategy. Is a competitor consistently undercutting your prices to gain market share? They could be considered an enemy. Now, I would tell you, and I would take my own advice, is don't follow the enemy's practices. If they lower your prices, don't lower your prices without consideration and without being part of your strategy. But consider, who is your enemy? Aggressive negative campaigning or directly criticizing your company's offerings. Okay. How do I approach identifying a business enemy? Conduct market research, analyze industry reports. Okay. Look at the data, customer surveys, social media monitoring, competitive analysis. Not all competition is hostile, right? While it's important to identify key rivals, not every competitor needs to be considered an enemy. Once you identify a business enemy, develop strategic plans to address their actions and maintain your market share. So that's what the book talks about, is creating an enemy. Now, for him, his enemy initially was some family members at a Christmas party who kind of disrespected, not in an overly outright hostile way, but just disrespected his father. And that fueled it for him. He said, these people are disrespecting, right? They're disrespecting my father. No one's going to disrespect the Bet David name again. And he went on to, start a company in 2009 and sold it for like almost $300 million in 2022. So in 13 short years, he built a company from nothing. And he created this by having his fundamental principle of creating an enemy. And of course, your enemy grows. So if it's someone that has made fun of you and you then surpass that and you prove him or her wrong, you don't keep them as an enemy in 5 years from now when you're way past them. You change your enemy. So as an example, perhaps the enemy of McDonald's is Burger King. Perhaps the enemy of Tesla is Ford. Your enemy is someone that fuels you. I like to think of it as iron sharpens iron. An old Bible quote from Proverbs. Iron sharpens iron. So, think of the rivalry maybe between, let's say, two rap stars, music stars, right? Or think of the rivalry, the enemy that Tom Brady had, as the book talks about. Tom Brady's drafted, I think, 199th out of 200, where he's the last pick, and there's like 8 quarterbacks ahead of him. So his enemy is getting on the team. Then his enemy is Drew Bledsoe. Then his enemy is solidifying the number 1 spot, right? Then his enemy is, okay, all these guys were ahead of me. I'm going to surpass them. Boom, 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 right? Okay, winning a Super Bowl. Then the enemy is getting another Super Bowl, right? And creating an enemy in the sense of something or someone that you're going after to try to defeat. So, as example, winning the Super Bowl is a competition in yourself. You're going to prove your enemies wrong, your doubters wrong. It's not your competition. You're not sitting there going, oh, I'm going to beat Baltimore today. I'm going to beat this team today. It's bigger than that. Those are your competitors. The enemy is, what's that one thing I need to crush? So for me, is it myself? Yes, it is. Is it tactics and routines and structure that I need to do things more consistently? Yes. Is there someone else in the marketplace that is doing something better than me, that's bigger than me, faster than me, what have you? That's a great competitor, but I can also make that my enemy, the person that I'm out to try to get to their level. And then once I get to their level, I want to pass their level. So the book is intriguing, particularly the enemy part, because the enemy can be you. It can be your competitors. It can be an old teacher. It could be your parent. It could be someone that laughed at you, ridiculed you, bullied you, what have you. And so what fuels you? And it's to concentrate on that and use that as the fuel to get up every day and to prove them wrong. Now, in closing, the book has 12 basic fundamental steps, if you will. And so I want to make sure you can see this. You can, great. So what he talks about here is he talks about that there's the emotional and there's the logical side. Each side, so there's 12 steps, but there's really 6. 6 on the emotional side, 6 on the competitive side. And so when we look at this, we see that there's, your enemy on the emotional side, so it gets you emotional, and on the logical side, it's your competitor. Okay, so maybe your competitors are all the other cleaning businesses in your geographical area. But the enemy is the person or the company that's number one. You're out to beat them. Or maybe the enemy is the companies that won't do business with you. Janitorial supply companies, as an example, won't do business with you or give you best pricing and stuff like that because they're dealing with them. What is it that fuels you? But then on the other side, he has things like, your will versus your skill, your mission versus your plan, your dreams versus your systems. And you're only as good as your systems, as a quote from Atomic Habits, right? You fall to your systems, not your goals. So what systems do you have in place to help you continue with your dreams? Culture on the emotional side, and your team, which helps drive the culture. And then your vision, where do you want to go? And then the capital that you need. And so he calls these the audacious few, those that focus on this and create the enemy. So as we head into 2025, I encourage you to do some business planning. I have made the mistake of having an idea in my head, writing it down on a piece of paper and never looking at it again, and it's next to useless. I personally am creating a living document for 2025. It is something that I'm going to go over every Monday morning and review with my team and all that stuff on a very regular basis, definitely every quarter, and fine tune it. It's going to be a living document. So whatever your shortfalls are, whatever your setbacks are, whatever has been an Achilles heel for you in the past, put in some systems, whether or not that's getting a coach, whether or not it's putting in some programs, whatever it is that's going to help you help yourself so that you can move into 2025 and achieve your goals, whatever they are, for whatever your reasons are, so that you can look back in a year from now and sit back and say, wow, I really made some great strides. So iron sharpens iron. I'm in the presently been doing my business planning for about the last month, not every day, I'm in the close of it, and then it's going to be a fine tune on the 12 building blocks. They're going to grow and improve every month, every week, and definitely throughout the year, so that the program keeps on growing and I keep on moving forward to attack my enemy, to beat my competitors, and ultimately to grow a company that benefits and adds massive value to the marketplace. Hope you found this of value. Happy 2025. I look forward to working with you, talking with you, engaging with you over the year. Take care. I'm Aiden Rigg.
The one thing that companies need to survive is new business. But cold calling has less than a 2% success rate. And with the demands on salespeople's time to prospect, close new businesses, and maintain existing accounts are simply unrealistic in today's fast-paced, hyper-competitive market. Introducing LeadFree, using AI to automate your prospecting using our built-in templates, newsletters, and videos to engage your leads. Automate top-of-the-funnel processes so you can focus your time on warm prospects that are familiar with your brand and have demonstrated interest. With social media, lead capture, emails, SMS, and phone capabilities, all your interactions live in one unified view. You no longer have to guess which leads are hot and most likely to convert. LeadFree provides you with this data and notifies your salespeople which leads are actively engaging with your brand. Sign up for a free trial today. LeadFreak.ai. You're only one lead